Are we already working on the market even without a sport director? Yes, absolutely. When the time is right, we will speak. And this is something that this is my view over Conceição. Some of you ask me on a message, and I like to do posts about these believers of this young AC Milan. Welcome back to another episode. Happy Sunday if you're watching the video on a Sunday night when I publish it, or on Monday. Happy strong week. This is for every Milan fan. This is literally the last week of the Campionato, guys. This is the last week that matters something for us. For the rest, it's just a walkabout. I don't know if you are fool enough to believe in the Champions League. I don't know, but the season ends on Wednesday. Let's be very honest, okay? That's the best things that can happen this season, is to bring home the Coppa Italia after specifically winning 3-0 and avoiding the treble to Inter. This is the best things that we can achieve this season. It is frustrating in an unimaginable level, in my opinion, but some of us are happy, so some of us also think that it wasn't that bad season. And the first person saying that wasn't a bad season, it is our CEO, Giorgio Furlani. So that's what I want to talk about in this video, guys, about the words of the Giorgio Furlani, the words of Sergio Conceição, coach of AC Milan, after the victory against Bologna, and some of the words that I read about Gabbia. They're pretty good. I have to say that Gabbia could be a future capitano, or at least whenever he talks, everything he says makes kind of sense to me. So he's very honest. I like it. And also, we have some horrific news over the stadium. And that, what we're going to analyze in the video. Make sure to put a big like, subscribe to the channel of the OldHeart Rossoneri. This evening also, I just finished to record a video with Marco. Who is Marco? You want to wonder. If you have social media, especially Instagram and TikTok, you probably see him online doing some match review. You probably see him doing some reaction. He does live stream on TikTok. He's brave enough to put his face when Milan wins and Milan lose, because it's easy with your keyboard, but put your face on, trust me, it's not that easy. So I respect definitely the guy. Anyway, I will publish this video on the Tuesday coming, just before the match, so make sure to check it out. But first of all, let's dig some of the words of your CEO, Giorgio Furlani, not mine. Giorgio Furlani talking over Conceição. You know, as soon as he arrived, he won a trophy, and on a Wednesday, he can become the first coach since Ancelotti to win 2 in the same season. Now we are focused on finishing the season in the best possible way. He's working well, and we have maximum confidence in him. Just remember these words at the end of the Campionato. Because, of course, now he cannot say we will see the future, how it goes. Of course he cannot. He's the CEO. He have to make sure that everything is smooth, everything is fine. We have fully confidence over him. You have confidence over him, but you don't protect him. You don't make his life easier. You don't help him with the right mercato. He can become the first coach since Ancelotti to win to win 2 cups in one season. Guess what? One of the cup, it wasn't a Supercoppa won at -94. It was a Champions League in 2003, won against in the semi-final against Inter, in the final against Juventus at a penalty. I think it's a different level. So let's don't put these 2 achievements on the same plate. You're not like Ancelotti, you're not like Berlusconi. This Milan is not like that one. Let's make very, very, very clear, okay? Because the last time I was asked the question about the sport director, I answered that we were looking for him, and that the theme was not urgent. But finding the right person, today I answer in the same way. No urgency, and not before the end of the season. If we insert a new figure, it will be the right person. So you see how it is already changed from what we heard in February, in March, from Cardinale and from Ibrahimović. it was a completely different thing. In their words, was the urge to find before March, before April, a new sport director. Now, Furlani, Elliot, is saying something completely opposite. It's saying we're not in a urge. We don't probably even need a new sport director. So this is once again, the confirmation that the two ownership, they are fighting each other. The two ownership, they are not on the same page. And this is literally the worst things can happen in a club. Are we already working on the market even without a sport director? Yes, absolutely. The market starts several months before. We've been working on it a long time. The market is done by the club. We are not standing still. And this is terrifying. This is terrifying because the market is done by the club. Yes, of course, at the end of the day, the club is the one that placing the money. But the direction is not taken by the club. The direction is defined by the sport director. The direction is decided by what Milan's need, by the coach, by the advisor around, not by the club, not by who's the most convenient, not by who's leaving, so we have to cover the right side, so Kalul is not here anymore, let's buy Emerson Royal. We need the number 9, who's the cheapest, is Morata. This is the wrong way to do mercato, and you're doing it right, perfectly. You're doing it correct way. Sergio just arrived in January and won a trophy. Now he's in a position to be the first coach since Ancelotti to win another trophy. It's clearly irrelevant things, but we evaluating generally how things are going at Milanello. Man, Barcelona is destroying at the moment. Barcelona is literally destroying Real Madrid at the moment, 4-2. Wow. Probably that's why you will hear noise in the house, because living in Barcelona, that's what does it mean. When there is a Clásico, the house is shaking. Anyway, it's clearly irrelevant things, but we're evaluating in generally how things are going at Milanello, how he's working, and we have faith in him. I said in the past that we are evaluating whether to get a sport director. If we do get one, it has to be who adds value and helps us do better at growing Sportling. Horrible part, guys, ladies and gentlemen, about all this, and I said that probably once every video, and I'll say that again. The real problem here is that worries me. It is that after this horrendous season, and you can label it as glorious because we won clearly one already, we won it, and we have a chance to win a second one. But the horrendous things about this season, that Milan, after not qualifying in Champions League, after arriving 9th, after being laughed from every team above us beside Inter, but that's a different topic. At the end of the season, nobody is gonna pay the price of taking Milan from up here to down here. Nobody. Not the Scaroni, not the Redbird, not the Cardinale, not the Moncada, not the Ibrahimović, not the Furlani. None of these are gonna pay for how they treat and what they did with AC Milan, which is completely different game if we're talking about Paolo Maldini, because Paolo Maldini did his mistakes in the mercato, maybe in the management, maybe in renewal certain contracts, and he got punished right away the year after. He got fired. Like he's the number. Meanwhile, this guy that nobody ever heard about before, and they even try to glorify Ibrahimović like an icon of AC Milan. Meanwhile, Ibrahimović will be never an icon of AC Milan because Ibrahimović is a perfect example of mercenaries. He's a merchant that is going bouncing around with his friends Mino Raiola, riposo in pace, from clubs to clubs all across Europe. He ends up the final season. He did the little speech in front of San Siro with the Pioli, with the Tonali and so on, eventually to say he is actually an icon. He's not an icon. I don't want Ibrahimović anywhere nearby Milan, because what he represents is not the value that I fell in love for Milan. Some of the words actually from another thing that I want to say, guys, about some of the words from Gabbia that some of the words of Gabbia, there is a little bit of bitterness because the ranking does not reflect our potential. But we must not feel sorry for ourselves. We have to close as best as we can, and then we'll make the comparison at the end of the season. Following the coach work is important. We've had more time to understand what he wants from us. We compacted in a bad moment. We are doing better than before. We are in a good moment. The results say so, but beating Bologna on Wednesday won't be easy. We have to prepare as best as we can and give our best on the pitch. Conceição always very real, very honest, cold. We didn't play a great game. And if you watch the match, you know that Milan didn't play a great game. However, it's true that we won against a strong team that is doing well. Those who came in afterwards gave positive responsive, and I like that a lot. Chukwueze, Jimenez, actually very good, you're right. From tomorrow we start preparing for the final. We have to analyze what we did well and what we didn't. It will be a different match from today. Final must be won, even playing less well. Jimenez is working well. I'm talking a lot with him to give him what he needs. He arrived here with a small physical problem. We have a confidence in a lot of players. I'm happy for the 2 goals forward are known to forwards, strikers. So I guess they are known to leave 4 goals. Conceição isn't important, because then I guess every single time the press asks him, are you going to stay here? Are you going to stay here? It says Conceição isn't important. What is important and winning the next game, because for a club like ours, it's fundamental to live to. This is not the moment to talk about me. When the time is right, we will speak. And this is something that this is my view over Conceição. Some of you ask me on a message, and I like to do posts about this. Do you keep Conceição next season? Yes, no. Of course, it depends a lot on the final result on Wednesday. In my opinion, what Conceição wants, he wants to have insurance for the future. If he's going to have a project, a sport director, and so on. Somebody that can help him to do this kind of job and to help him to do, because he's a coach, he's not a manager. Okay, so he needs somebody that help him for the mercato, for the strategy, to shield the team as well a little bit. And if Furlani and the clubs is not going to give him, or at least give him insurance over that, I'm telling you, Conceição is living by himself. 6 months in Milan, 2 trophies, see ya later. And then we're going to even more mess. And then it's going to be crucial to know the words of Conceição at the end of the season, because he's going to reveal a lot of shit. Oh, he's going to reveal a lot of things. I'm just waiting for the moment. I'm here with the popcorn. I'm just waiting for the end of the season to know the words of Conceição, what he's going to say. The president of Serie A, Mr. Ezio Simonelli, talked to a Panorama podcast, is saying, is there a chance to see Serie A matches in the United States? And he was like, there are formal steps to go through, such as getting UEFA approval, but we would like to do it. We also have an opportunity. He's also saying San Siro will be closed for a month, prepare for the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics. From January 10th to February 8th, the stadium won't be available for Inter and Milan. It could be a chance to have them played abroad. So this guy, they want to literally bring Milan and Inter for a month to play in the United States. I understand that financially, economically, for the tickets, it is a great idea. But first of all, what about the fans that they bought the seasonal ticket in Milan? First of all. Second of all, what about the preparations? So how are you going to do, for example, 1 week you're going to New York to play, and the weekend after you have to go to Napoli. Then you fly back again to Chicago, and then you fly back to Sassuolo. That is so bad. And this is just the beginning, because if they start like this is going to be horrendous. It's going to be the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia again in the beginning of January, and then from January to February they're going to be in the United States. And then you want them, all the team playing the best football ever in Champions League, in Coppa Italia, and then they're going to have the Club World Cup competition. Wasn't enough like back in the 90s and 2000 a single match, or at least a mini tournament like, semi-final and final. No, you have to do an entire tournament with group stages and selling more tickets. The direction that modern football is going, it is horrendous. Gianni Infantino is probably the worst things could happen in football history. In football history. I don't know, guys. Let me know, what do you think? I'm sorry to be this negative and always have these kind of thoughts a little bit backwards, but I think sometimes this sport is moving more for the money, with this idea of making it more available to everyone. We are losing the essence of football. Let me know, what do you think? Believe.